So, today's topic is artificial intelligence in agriculture. So, it is a very important. Wait, there's one. Today we are gonna talk about the topics which will include introduction to AI, which is basically what AI is. What do you understand by artificial intelligence? Key challenges in agriculture, and how we can solve these challenges with the help of artificial intelligence. Because we all know artificial intelligence has created a major transmission in the human life and also increased the luxury and implemented the labor cost. We'll study the case studies, benefits of AI in agriculture, challenges and limitations, future perspectives, and conclusions. So, while talking about introduction to artificial intelligence, we should all know and we should all should have a question key what AI is, what artificial intelligence basically is. So, when we talk about artificial intelligence, it is basically the science or the idea of making machines that can think like human. It is like interpreting the human thinking, the human brain into a machine so that it can take its decisions by its own. Like in this time, most of the machines we do have to tell them what to do. We have to give them a task. We have to control them, and then the output is given. But artificial intelligence is about the things such as recognize patterns, making decisions, and judge like humans. Artificial intelligence is the simulation of human intelligence process by machine, especially by computer systems, so that making the machines independent of the human control. Overview of this presentation, like most of the AI that we are aware of today, it is 5% of what AI is capable of. As we all have heard, Mr. Elon Musk, he has made a statement that AI is actually very dangerous. But right now, we will talk about importance of AI in addressing challenges in agriculture. So, AI provides local farmers with access to wealth of information and tools, enabling them to make more informed decisions about their farming practices. This includes insight into optimal planting times, soil health management, efficient water usage, and pest control strategies. Basically, all these things, such as soil health management, efficient water usage, and pest control, all these things were also happening in the past by the traditional methods. But with the help of AI, we have a lot of information and tools. With the help of AI algorithms, it has become more optimal for the farmer to know the perfect timing to plant the trees or to plant the crop, how to use pesticides, what amount of pesticides does the soil needs, efficient water usage. Because currently 70% of the water irrigation system is under irrigated. AI enabled systems make weather predictions, monitor agriculture sustainability, and assess from farms for presence of disease and pests and undernourished plants. So what happens is ki there are machines which are loaded with cameras which has a database of more than 1000 to 1 lakh images of plants with diseases which are undernutritioned, and with the help of AI algorithms we know we are able to we are able to justify, and we are able to know ki which plant is in better need of pesticides or which plant is undernourished. Okay, one of the primary challenges is the collection and management of large volume of data. Before all of this AI and databases that are made online, the data that was collected from the farmers, that was kept in the physical form as bundles and diaries, uh, which was very hard to sort, and it was very, what can we say, it was very treacherous to go through that data. But when We use AI algorithms to store data. It is very easy to have it back, to fetch the data back. Like in AI, there are data structures such as trees, linked lists, arrays, which store the data, and when we need it, it is very efficient to fetch it back. Further, talking of which, in crop protection, these AI sensors which facilitate detection, recognition, and control of targeting areas of crops which specific pest problem in real time with the help of DSS, decision support system. With the help, DSS is basically based on the AI algorithms which help in this DSS prescriptions. We use uh, image recognition system in which the image the if just say if the farmers has clicked an image of a plant which is having some pest problem, then it is gonna find that same image in the database system, and according to that it is gonna give the prescriptions, the uh, cure to that. AI can help detect field boundaries and water bodies to enable sustainable framing practices, improve crop yield, and supports India's 1.4 billion people and rest of the world. AI has potential to accelerate global efforts to protect the environment and conserve resources by detecting energy emission reductions, CO2 removals, helping develop greener transportation networks, monitoring deforestation, and predicting extreme weather conditions. Recently, we are basically sympathizing on the fact of global warming, the increasing levels of CO2, the deforestation that has been taken place. So all of these things, they have come into a light because of the datas and the algorithms that AI has predicted. So right now we are very, like, we are forseeking for the better future to to reduce the CO2 levels, and to plant more trees to have a healthy environment. So now we'll talk about key challenges in agriculture. Sorry. So basically, in key challenges, we are going to talk about the climate change, policy and governance, technology adoption, soil degradation, water scarcity, pest and diseases, resource depletion, and many more. So, if we talk about climate changes, it is the rising temperatures across the crop yield, and water availability, which means the weather of India is very unpredictable. We never know what amount of rain, with what centimeters of rain it's gonna pour this year, or is it is gonna be the same amount the rain had been last year. So the climate changes. So what AI helps is AI studies the past data from the databases and the real time data to figure out and to give predictions about the changes. Water scarcity, growing populations, and competing demands of water strain agriculture irrigation system, which means India has a population of 1.4 billion, and it is increasing day by day. So, with the increasing number of population, there's a high demand and high rise of water demands. So, which results in the strain in agriculture and irrigation system. Humans are provided with water, but that water has been taken from the irrigation systems or the agriculture thing, because we have to supply somewhere or the other, which actually um impacting crop production and livestock management. Further talking of soil degradation, as we all know, soil erosion, nutrient depletion, and salinization reduce soil fertility. Salinization is nothing but it is the increase of soil content in soil, which indeed makes the soil very infertile and very dangerous for the crop. Pest and diseases. Rapid globalization and trade facilitate the pressure of pest and disease threatening the crop and livestock health worldwide. As much as the globalization is there, the increase in pest and disease threatening crop is also increasing day by day. Loss of biodiversity. Monoculture practices and habitat destruction diminish biodiversity, weakening ecosystems and making agriculture more susceptible and pests and diseases. So, while talking about biodiversity, there's a term called monoculture. By monoculture, we mean growing one crop of a species in a field. Like, we can connect it to the time when Britishers used to force Indian farmers to plant indigo. Indigo, because that time indigo was very commercially profitable. There was a demand of blue color in the Europe, so that's why they used to force Indian farmers to cultivate indigo. So the drawback was here ki that indigo plant that used to drain the soil out of all the nutrients and used to stay like it left the lands barren. So that is a very great example of monoculture. Resources depletion. Overuse of fertilizers, pesticides, and other agricultural inputs lead to environmental degradation, population, and depletion of non renewable resources. Non renewable resources, it is not directly connected, but if we are cultivating a crop, then we are not going to use then we need to use tractors and many more machines which are directly dependent on petroleum and diesel, and these are nothing but are non-renewable resources. market what market volat- Market volatility, function in commodity prices, trade policies, and geopolitical tensions can destabilize agriculture markets, impacting farmers' income and food security. See, market is something that changes every day. The trends in market and the need of the market, it is somewhat very destable, and this because of that this impacts the farmers. It impacts the farmers incomes and food security. Coming to labor shortage, rural deep rural depopulation and shifting demographics result in labor shortages, affecting farm productivity, particular in particularly in labor intensive sectors like fruits and vegetable productions. Technology adoption. When we talk about technology adoption, it is the technologies which are powered by AI, such as precision farming, genetic engineering, and automation. When we talk about genetic engineering, it is more of when we, let's say, we all eat bananas today, but do you know that bananas earlier, the original form of bananas used to have very large seeds in it, but due to this genetic engineering we have made it more eatable. Just for example, there comes many varieties of cucumbers in market. Some of them has big seeds, some of them has very less seeds. So this is all a result and a fruitful result of genetic engineering. Policy and governance, inconsistent policies, inadequate infrastructures, and limited access to credit and market hinders agricultural development and economic growth, especially in the developing countries. Say there's a government that has launched many schemes that are in favor of the farmers, but after some time that government changes, and with that change, the programs, the policies, the infrastructures, and the credits that are provided by that government, they also change. So this thing between the policy and governance, this also hinders agricultural development on a very big basis. Now let's talk about the applications of AI in agriculture. We are going to talk about precision farming, smart farming, crop management, supply chain optimization, market analysis, and decision support, environmental sustainability. Personally, this part of the presentation is going to be the heart of this presentation. So, when we talk about precision agriculture, it is basically divided into three more types. It is crop monitoring, soil analysis, and predictive analytics. So, crop monitoring, AI powered drones and satellite analyze aerial imagery to monitor crop health, detect diseases, nutrient deficiencies, and optimize irrigation. So, what happens here is we have drones and we have satellites. So what they do, they are taking aerial imagery of the land in which the crops are cultivated, and from those pictures we got to monitor the crop health, and we can detect diseases in it, the deficiency, and it is very it all of it has part of image recognition. The earlier which I told that key image recognition, it is a process in which we have a database which is filled with lakhs and lakhs of images of plants with their diseases and all deficiencies. And what happens is we click a picture, then we send it to that database. There takes the matching place, and after there's a match, then we got to know the specific disease that the plant is suffering or the specific nutrient deficiency that the plant is suffering. This makes our work very efficient, cost friendly, and labor friendly. Soil analysis. AI algorithm interprets soil data, including moisture levels, pH, and nutrient content, to provide recommendation for precision fertilization and soil management. So there's a very big part of resource management here. Fertilizers, they are a resource that the government is providing to the farmers. So, and if we know how much deficient the soil is, which nutrient does the soil needs, then we'll be very precise about that particular fertilizer ki this is what we need. So there would be a good amount of resource management, and all of this is done with the help of AI algorithms. Yeah. Now we come to predictive analytics. So this part is further divided into yield forecasting, disease and pest management, optimized irrigation, crop health monitoring, resource optimization. We'll study about it further. Now let's say predictive analytics in agriculture involves using historical and real-time data to make predictions about future events or outcoming related to farming practices. Here, so what happens in predictive analysis, as the name say, predictive means prediction. It has come from the word prediction. So this algorithm, this uses the historical data which we have stored in our data sets, and it uses the real-time data to make predictions about the future key, what is going to be the trend for the next year, right? And we can talk about this. Predictive analytics are applied into further points. This is like yield forecasting. Though the predictive models analyze historical data on weather patterns, soil quality, crop varieties, and management practices to forecast crop yield for the upcoming growing season. This information helps farmers plan production, estimate revenues, and optimize resource allocation. Again, the word resource allocation is the best benefit that AI is giving to us. So what happens here is that in yield forecasting, the predictive models take the historical and the real-time data to know about the upcoming growing season. When it's going to be the most optimal season for the farmer to grow the crop, when will the crop be harvested, which will be the fruitful season to grow a crop, right? Then disease and pest management. So it also helps in disease and pest management by analyzing historical data on the pest and disease outbreak. So what happens here is it is using the historical data which has the record of pest and disease outbreaks कि किस season में कौन सा disease हुआ था, which pests are most likely to occur in this particular season, right? As well as environmental conditions conducive to the spread. So, predictive analysis can help farmers anticipate and mitigate potential threats to crop. So, what this does is ki it helps the farmers to mitigate means reduce the potential threats to crop. Early detection and intervention based on predictive models can minimize crop loss and reduce the need of chemical treatments. So, if we know that this certain pest or this certain disease is gonna occur in the near future, then we'll be more dedicated towards intervening in that, and this will help us this will help us in resource management too, because we'll be requiring less chemicals, right? Now we'll talk about optimized irrigation. See, predictive models use data on soil moisture levels, weather forecast levels, crop water requirement, and irrigation system. So it is optimized irrigation. It takes everything. How much, what is the moisture levels of the soil? How much water is it going to take to make it perfect for the crop? ठीक है, weather forecast, like is there gonna rain in near future? If it is gonna rain in future, then there's no need of irrigation right now, then because that will implement automatically in over irrigation, right? So, performance of optimized irrigation scheduling. By predicting future water needs more accurately, farmers can conserve water resources, reduce cost, and prevent over and under irrigation. Exactly. So, with the weather forecast, if we know okay, it's gonna rain tomorrow, then I'm not gonna irrigate the fields today, because then that will result in over irrigation. So due to this optimized irrigation method, which is also a part of predictive analytics, we are able to reduce the cost, to save water, and to prevent under and over irrigation, all due to AI. We talk about crop health monitoring. See, remote sensing data from satellites and drones combined with predictive analytics ensure early detection of abnormalities in the crop health, such as nutrient deficiency, water stress, or pest infestations. See, again, timely interventions based on predictive models help to maintain crop health and maximize yield. If we know that our crop is having or is going to have a certain type of problem, a certain type of deficiency, then because we are continuously monitoring it with the help of satellites and drones and the predictive analytics, कि last year this happened with the wheat crop, so this year I'm gonna study the data what happened, and I'll be able to predict it and to intervene in that matter, which will help in maintaining crop health and maximize the yield. Now let's talk about weather and climate predictions. Predictive analytics models leverage historical weather data, climate trends, and advanced forecasting techniques to predict future weather patterns and climate conditions. Okay, so what happens here? Ki we are leveraging the historical weather data about the climate trends, about the rainfall, about the scarcity, everything. These predictions helps the farmers make informed decisions about planting schedules, crop selection, and risk management strategies in response to changing weather patterns. Right. So now we are going to talk about the second application of AI in agriculture, that is smart farming, right? So smart farming, talking of which, we are gonna talk about sensors and IoTs in it, data collection and monitoring, automation and robotics, data analytics and precise modeling, remote sensibility and imagery, and many more. So smart farming is what? Smart farming involves integration, means it involves both advanced technologies and data driven technologies. Advanced technologies is what we do by the prediction thing, and data driven is ki we fed the machine, we fed the algorithm the data, and we get the optimal answer for it, right? So to optimize agriculture production and management practices, so let's talk more about sensors and IoT devices. See, before talking about this related to smart farming, we should all know what sensors and IoTs are. Sensors are something that are gonna detect the changes in its environment, and it's gonna send a signal. Right? It's gonna send a signal ki this is what is happening in my environment. Like say, there is a sensor fitted in the soil. So if there's a scarcity of water in the soil, the sensor is gonna inform the database कि यहाँ पानी कम है, right? So this is what's going to happen in sensors, and there can be different type of sensors, like one to is sensitive to water, heat sensors, right? Pest sensors, and many more. IoT devices, like the name suggests, Internet of Things. What is Internet of Things? It is basically objects, or say things, which have which use the AI algorithm and to connect with each other to share the data on a network which is completely wireless and with the help of internet, right? So now let's talk about smart farming related to sensors and IoT devices. So smart farming relies on network of sensors and IoT devices developed across fields and farms to collect real-time data on various environmental parameters. These sensors measure factors such as soil moisture, temperature, humidity, pH level, nutrient content, and weather condition. So I'll give you an example. Let's say कि there's a plant in a house, right? So what happens is कि that we have put a sensor which is uh, which is sensitive to moisture. It's going to tell us the temperature and everything. So we have placed a sensor in that pot. So if the water levels, the moisture level of the soil decreases, it's going to tell the database कि there is scarcity of water. So what will happen is कि IoT, this Internet of Things, will communicate with each other, and the result of which is ki the machine will be controlled by the IoT to irrigate the pot with water. So this is how, this is a very small level of deployment of sensors and IoTs. This is actually happening in the fields. So it is a very good point, because in this there is we save a labor cost, right? And it is very, like, it has given the human a luxurious kind of style. Like first people have to irrigate the fields, they have to check everything themselves. Now there are machines who do these things for them, right? So data collection and monitoring, the collected data is transmitted wirelessly to a centralized platform where it is aggregated, processed, and analyzed in real time. Yeah. So here the data that is collected, and it is monitored by the centralized platform, right? Farmers can monitor fields condition remotely through the web-based dashboards or mobile applications. These days there are many applications which help the farmers to monitor their fields, to see the data, and to take real-time actions, right? Automation and robotics. Again, automation and robotic, it directly involves autonomous tractors, drones, robotic systems that are employed to perform various tasks in the field autonomously. Like when we harvest crops, there is a machine that automatically harvests crops and put them in bundles, right? Drones are there to do the surveys of the field, and robotic systems, they all help us to make the system autonomous. These technologies automate tasks such as planting, seeding, spraying, weeding, harvesting, and monitoring, thereby reducing labor cost and improving efficiency. Data analytics and predictive modeling. So what happens here is it analyzes the vast amount of data collected from sensors and other sources. Okay. With this, the predictive models are developed with the databases that we have collected. The predictive models are developed with all the AI algorithms which forecast crop yield, predicts pest and disease outbreaks, optimize irrigation schedules, and make informed decisions about crop management. Right? Remote sensing and imaging. So what happens here is कि it includes satellite imagery and aerial drone equipped with cameras and sensors, which provides high resolution image of the field. Like those images that are clicked, they are very clear. They with high resolution means they are very clear. They take lots of memory. So these images are used for crop monitoring, mapping, and analysis, which also helps us in detecting whether the crop is free of pest or not, if crop is having any disease or not, if crop having any nutrient deficiency or not. Okay, allowing the farmer to detect anomalies, assess crop health, and monitor changes over time. Now we talk about DSS, that is decision support system. Okay. So what happens here is that this support system provides farmers with actionable insights and recommendation based on data analysis and predictive modeling. Right. These symptoms help farmers optimize planting schedules and improve overall management practices. See, supply chain irrigation. So what happens here in supply chain irrigation is the data sharing and integration within the suppliers, distributors, and retailers enable transferability, quality assurance, and market accesses, ensuring that product meets the customer's demand and regularity requirements. So, if this is about the market demand. So, if the farmer knows what the customer wants, what do the people of that area or the other area wants, then the farmer is obviously gonna cultivate that crop. So this supply chain integration helps to meet the demand and regulatory requirements. So sustainability and environmental management. Okay, by this optimizing resource use, reducing chemical inputs, and minimizing environmental impact, smart farming promotes sustainable agriculture practices. It helps us conserve water, right? Reduce greenhouse gas emissions, protect biodiversity, enhance soil growth, contributing to large term environmental sustainability. If we take our steps very careful, right, if we are very clever about the irrigation and the agricultural system, then we are gonna contribute in the long term environmental sustainability. Our soils, our lands, they are gonna be fertile for a very long time. They're not gonna be abandoned. So let's talk about crop management. So crop management, we are going to talk about three things here: weed detection and management, pest and disease management, genomic and breeding. So what happens here is crop management is contributing like nee, weed detection and management is a very big part of crop management. What happens here is जो AI algorithms identify and target weeds with precision. Weeds are nothing but weeds are the unwanted and harmful plants that grow with our crop, harming the growth of the crop, right? So these AI algorithms identify and target weed with precision and enabling selected herbicide application and reducing chemical use. Right. So what happens here is they target the weed. Okay, they target the weed and they enable herbicide, which is not chemical, and with this our crops are not damaged. Our crop yield stays the same and even better, right? Pest and disease management. So in this the AI system analyzes symptoms and patterns to diagnose crop diseases. Okay. So this diagnosis of crop diseases, this symptoms and patterns, they are already stored in the database from the earlier database. This pest or this disease has certain symptoms. This disease has certain patterns. Like just in humans, we have certain symptoms for diseases, certain patterns for some diseases. Just like that, we have a database for plants also, which is managed by AI algorithms, and this helps us in pest and disease management, genomic and breeding. Okay, so this is a very interesting thing. What are we doing these days? We are breeding and we are trying to mix the genes to make and to obtain the fruitful result. Like, just example, the banana, the earlier banana, original banana used to have very big seeds, but these days the bananas that we are consuming, it hardly has seeds, right? So this is what genomic and breeding inherits inside it, right? Identifying desirable traits and develop resilient and high yielding varieties, the varieties which can withstand severe weather conditions, that can stand scarcity of water, that can uh, withstand the severe sun rays, the high temperatures and all. Let's talk about supply chain optimization. It has two parts: predictive maintenance and logistic and distribution. So what happens is predictive maintenance is AI powered sensors monitor equipment health and predict maintenance need. So all of the things that we are using there, so they all also needs maintenance. They all also needs, require like requirement analysis and health checkups by reducing downtime and optimizing machinery usage. Let's talk about logistics and distribution. See, so what happens here is ki once the crop is yielded, it has to take logistic routes to the warehouse management and the supply chain organization. So what is the part of AI here is ki AI has several algorithms such as BDF, DFS, BFS, PRIMS, Digestra. These algorithms helps the farmer to find the best possible way to transport its crop within the less, like with the least cost applied, right? So breadth for search, depth for search, prims, digestra, they are very commonly used algorithms. Let's talk about market analysis and decision support. Okay. So there are two basic components we're going to talk about here is data collection and data integration and cleaning. So what happens here is in data collection, historical sales data, right? Which fruit or which crop was sold the most in the recent years, right? What is the market trend? Customer preferences, what do customers are prefer, like, favoring these days? Competitor analysis, weather forecast and global trade data, all these data are very important for us to have a proper agricultural system which is successful for both government and the farmer itself. So data source may include government reports, industry publications, market research firms and internal sales records. Okay, so let's talk about data integration and cleaning. Collected data is integrated from multiple sources, cleaned to remove inconsistencies, errors, and missing values. This ensures that the data is accurate, complete, and reliable for the analysis. It further talks about EDA, exploratory data analysis, market segmentation, and consumer profiling. So, what happens in EDA is it involves visualizing and summarizing the data to identify patterns. Right? If we don't identify patterns, we won't be able to make any predictive analytics for any kind of crop. Okay, so here what happens is key statistical techniques such as descriptive statistics, data visualizations and correlation analysis are used to gain insights of the market dynamics and consumer behavior, right? Market segmentation and consumer profiling, so it is used as the geographical location, right? Demographic, purchasing behavior, and preferences. Here, all of this is recorded, and consumer profiling helps farmers understand their target audience and tailor marketing strategies to meet the needs and preferences. All of this helps the farmer to make strategies and to cultivate accordingly to the consumer's preferences. Right? Now, let's talk about price prediction and optimization. See, as much as the demand of the crop increases, the prices also increases if there is scarcity in cultivation of that particular crop. If the quantity of the crop available in markets is less, then its price is obviously going to get high. So what happens in this model is कि it uses historical data, the data that we have stored from the past experiences. It analyzes the market trends, supply demand dynamics. Okay, this all is used to fluctuations for agricultural products. So farmers can use price predictions to optimize pricing strategies, right? Negotiate contracts and maximize profitability. If he knows what's the trend, then it is very easy for him to make strategies, negotiate with the contractors, and maximize the profit that he's gonna have. Now let's talk about environmental sustainability. Okay. So resource optimization, carbon sequestration. So resource optimization, we have talked about this earlier also. So what happens here is ki optimizing water usage, right? Energy consumption, chemical inputs, optimizing the use of fertilizers, right? This promotes sustainable farming practices and reduce environmental impact. See, if we are going to use less of our non-renewable resources, we are going to produce less greenhouse gases, which indeed results in the global warming, the rise in temperature, right? So resource optimization not only just saves our resources, but also it saves our environment in many ways that are not directly connected to agriculture. So let's talk about carbon sequestration. So we should know ki what carbon sequestration is. So it can be defined as ki it is capturing and storing atmospheric CO2, right? This is trapping and storing atmospheric CO2 into the lands, right? Uh, One method of reducing CO2 amount in this atmosphere, thus by reducing global warming and climate changes. Okay, so what happens here is कि AI-based monitoring system analyze vegetation patterns of the soil health to quantify carbon sequestration potential. कि how much carbon dioxide it can uh, ingest into the soil. So, supporting efforts to mitigate climate change through regenerative agricultural practices. So, one more thing I would like to add in this, ki, USGS, United States Geological Survey, it is currently it is conducting assessments of two types of carbon, basically geologic and biologic carbon, on the topic of carbon sequestration. Now let's talk about case studies. In case study, we are gonna talk about John Deere precision planting, right? This method or this type of planting uses AI and IoT. As I told you earlier, the use of IoT is very important in AI. Without sensors and IoT, AI is very incomplete, right? So it uses AI and IoT technologies to optimize plantations operation, improve crop yield. ठीक है. The features are such as individual row monitoring, variable rate seeding, and automated plant adjustment based on the soil condition and field variability. Right. So precision planting helps the farmers to achieve uniform crop emergency and maximize yield potential. This is a very good type of precision planting. Now let's talk about Climate Corporation's FieldView platform. So what happens here is कि it leverages AI and data analytics to provide farmers with the useful and important insights and recommendation for crop management. It also uses the data that has already been stored from the past experiences, and it integrates the data from the real time, which is from sensors, drones, satellites, and farm equipments to monitor field conditions, right? So FieldView offers features such as mapping, like field mapping, variable rate prescriptions, and real-time monitoring. This enables the farmer to make informed decisions that are that improve the productivity and sustainability of the crop and the crop yield. Let's talk about IBM's Watson decision platform from agriculture. Right. So this type of agriculturing practice combines AI, weather data, and agronomic insights to help farmers optimize their decision making across the growing season. All these things like the AI, the weather data, the agronomical insights, this they help the farmer to make optimized decision, the optimal decision, right? It provides personalized recommendation for planting, irrigation, fertilization, and pest management based on predictive analytics, right? And moreover, talking about Watson decision platform, it enables our farmers to maximize yield, to mitigate risk, to minimize the input costs that we are putting while cultivating a crop, right? So, and all of this is done by analyzing the data which we get from sources such as satellite imagery, the historical weather patterns which are stored in our databases, right, the soil samples, and many more. Now let's talk about Trimble's connected farm. Okay, so this is a very important, interesting one. So what happens here is that it utilizes AI, precision agriculture technology. So precision agriculture technology is based on the predictive analysis in which we predict from the data that is stored in our databases, right? So it technology to improve farm efficiency and productivity. It includes features such as automated steering systems, yield monitoring, prescription mapping for variable rate application inputs. Right. So, what happens in this integrate data, this connected farming? It mixes, like it adds the data from farm equipment, sensors, third-party sources to provide the farmer with an all overview to make the best decision which supports the crop and the cultivation of the crop. Last but not the least, this type of farming, farm-wise autonomous weeding robots. Okay, so when we talk about this, it uses the computer vision and machine learning algorithms. So machine learning is a subpart of AI. Just like AI consists of two things: machine learning and deep learning. So machine learning is also a part of AI. So it includes computer vision, machine learning algorithms to detect and remove weeds from the crop fields, right? These robots navigate between crop rows. They, like, in place of the person, in place of a labor. Now these robots, they navigate between crop rows. Okay, they identify the weed and they have a very high accuracy of identifying weed, and then they apply, like, either they remove it mechanically or they use thermal weed control methods to remove it, right, by reducing the need of chemical herbicides and manual labor. See, इसमें अब chemical herbicides are not used, right? Instead of manual labor, the machine is being used, so it has many benefits, right? So farm-wise robots help farmers improve weed control efficiency, reduce the cost, and enhance sustainability. Now we'll talk about the benefits of AI in agriculture. The more we talk about the benefits of AI, the less it is, because AI is the only thing that is transforming. It is transforming the trends, it is transforming our traditional culture and making it something better for every one of us. Like, the farmers are very much delighted with the advantages that AI is providing us these days. So AI offers numerous benefits in agriculture, right? Revolutionary traditional farming practices, right? It helps to optimize productivity, sustainability, and profitability. So let's talk about some points, right? Automatic weeding. as we talked about this earlier also, weeds are the plants, they are the wild plants that they grow automatically, they grow out of their own, and as a disadvantage they stunt the growth of the main crop, right? So it is really important to remove them so that our crop, the growth of our crop doesn't get uh, interrupted. So what happens is they steal the sunlight, they take the nutrients. See, all the nutrients, all the things that the farmer does is for the crop, but what happens is the weeds, they take it and they make it a real problem for the farmers. So weeds make the main part of the plant more targeted for pest. It even infests the plants with pests also. So what happened was in traditional methods, labor used to remove those weeds, and obviously humans do make mistakes, so that was not that efficient of a method to remove weeds. But these days, automatic weeding, it employs robots and machines to remove the weed from the plants. All of the things that the humans used to do is now done by a machine, right? Which is very efficient, right? And it also excuse me, this is done by the means of laser lights, right, without the use of chemical herbicides. And robot and AI machines surveys the entire field. Like there is not even a spot that is missed. So AI commands it high energy lasers to eradicate these weeds using thermal energy or maybe manually. Right. Next thing is automatic harvesting. Okay. So harvesting is a process of gathering the crops when the crops are fully developed and for the personal and business benefits. So what is the traditional methods of harvesting was hand picking and manual labor. But now when the AI is introduced, what happens is there are machines, okay, which have cameras, and the cameras are equipped with the software that recognize the harvesting products. Which plant I have to harvest, is it fit to harvest or not, is it ripen or not. All these things, they are equipped within the software that the camera holds, right? It is very very precise than a labor can ever be. So harvesting products can include fruits and vegetables, right? So the machine commands whenever there is a targeted product. If the camera has seen one product that is fully ripen and fit for harvesting, the machine will command the AI to pick them and collect them. Okay. In recent years, we have been collecting crops like peppers, lettuce, tomatoes, and apples, and other fruits like this only, right? So machine chooses and picks only the ripe fruits and vegetables. So this is a very good point and very beneficial advantage of AI in agriculture. And it has given the humans a bigger luxury rather than hand picking all of the things. That was a very tremendous task to do. So let's talk about plant disease detection. Okay. So, one of the other advantages, like one of many advantages of AI, is that it has it like we have made AI that much capable it is able to identify diseases of the plant. It can predict when can a disease may occur. It can predict the pest, and it can also give us the concerned solution for that disease, right? So. After analyzing the problem, what happens is uh, internet by the means of internet, these applications also find solutions for them, right? Just as I said, not only it diagnoses the disease but also writes and gives the farmer the absolute solution and the cure to that disease, right? AI follows the technique of image recognition and implementation of intelligent farming solutions. Plant image captured by the camera is run through the image recognition software, where if that image is recognized, like, yeah, one of such application is Plantex. This particular software, it has a database with more than hundred thousands of pictures of sick plants, and it can identify more than 60 plant disease, and it is a very big thing. Like, it, for even humans, it is hard to learn and to keep all the track of every disease, but this software is capable of identifying more than 60 diseases. For consideration, it has information related to tomatoes, peppers, melons, squashes, and lettuce. Soil health monitoring. Okay, this one too. So what happens here is ki, as much as the crop health is important for the farmer, the soil health is also very important, because without the soil there would be no good cultivation. So there what this is the exact thing that happened when the Britishers used to force Indian farmers to cultivate indigo in their lands. That plant of indigo, that you it just drained the soil out of every nutrient that it contained. So the soil health is very important to monitor, right? So the traditional analysis techniques are not that efficient anymore. Like, the traditional techniques ki ye fertilizers dal dete and all, they are not, they do not give us any desirable result now. But when we talk about AI software, what happens is कि we take a pinch of the soil, we send the samples to the lab, ठीक है? Then they run different tests with the help of machines and different procedures. ठीक है? And after that analysis that is done inside the lab, it is compared with hundreds of samples present in different online databases. ठीक है? Later, after the full-fledged study of the soil is done, then the results are given, and the recommendation and solution to improve the soil quality is also given. Irrigation management. Okay, one it is very important thing ki different crops require different water requirements. Like, the crop of wheat, it won't require as much water as the rice needs. Okay, so every crop has their different needs according to its requirements, right? And the shocking fact is that 70% of total water use counts under irrigated. And one more underlining reason for this under irrigation is the mass not urbanization, the increasing population. Like, our India has a population of 1.4 billions. So it is a tremendous task to provide water to humans only. So plants are very dialected this way. So 70% of water is under irrigated. 70% of our crops, they're under irrigated, right? So AI has that efficient and optimal manner, okay, to waste minimum, to waste the water at its minimum. Okay, how can this be done? First of all, weather forecast. With the help of weather forecasts, if there is rain in further future, then we can save water. We can store water for further use. If there is a drought, we can still save water for the future use, right? So this is very good and very genuine use of AI in saving our water, because water is our non-renewable resource, right? Though earth is complete, like 71% of the earth is water, but it is not fit for the irrigation, right? So AI tools collect the high resolution aerial images, collect the information about irrigation systems required for the fields. Then it evaluates, and it will give ill conditions of soils and rates as conditions. Okay, increased productivity. Okay, so with the help of AI, the productivity in our crops, it is increased on a very drastic manner. Like, we do pest control, right? So automatically the crop yield is good. We intervene when there is a disease. Early interventions help the plant, the crop to survive. So there is many reasons. The autonomous farming, right? Automatic weeding. So this is very beneficial for us, and it all increases the productivity of farming and as well as agriculture. Robots and drones developed by AI assist the farmers in cultivation and harvesting of the crops. Now we'll talk about the challenges and limitations. First of all, large upfront cost. See, AI is initial investment in AI is very expensive. Though in long terms AI is good, but initially purchasing machines in place of laborers, it can cost a lot. And for struggling, financially struggling farmers or startups, it is a big thing to do, right? AI may be possible, AI may be impossible for the time being, like adoption of AI. It is not, optimal for every farmer to, spend thousands and thousands of money on to something that is completely not that practical right now. But for the long term, it is very good and very beneficial. Reluctance to embrace new technologies and processes, obviously. See, there is always a reluctance for the new things. We as people, we are not welcoming for the changes. Not everybody is as welcoming as we are, right? So if something is unfamiliar, something is new, then obviously people are gonna stick to the traditional ways, right? Until and unless we teach them, the government decides to make them familiar with the use of AI by educating the farmers and educating the people how much AI is capable of helping our future and helping this country to get fully developed, right? This is what reluctance is very, it is a deep, it has deep roots in India, right? Let's talk about lack of practical experience with new technologies. Okay. See, there are machines, there are gonna be databases, there are gonna be drones, there are many things, and not everybody knows how to use it. Not everybody is educated to completely use a software that is completely different from their daily lifestyle, right? So there are some hurdles in country where next gen agriculture is uncommon. Some of the areas, they are not used to these things. So this thing can only be demolished when there are proper training, proper education, and proper support for the farmers by our sides and by the side of a government. Technological limitations. See, AI is still developing. What we know about AI is just 5 or 6%. What we have implemented using AI is 1 or 2%. AI is such a vast field, and it has such capabilities that it can tremendously change the environment, and it can be the boom of India and the world. Right? Robots with sensors limitation can make adapting to change farming environment difficult, right? Monitoring AI decisions manually is likely to be useful during the early stages of adoption. Exactly. Privacy and security issue. Okay. So as we all know, internet is not that much. Internet is new, like not that new, but it is kind of new to India. Okay, we do not have proper rules, we do not have proper security over the things. So general lack of regulations related to the use of AI is still there in the industry. There are many mishappenings that are done on the social media sites, which is also a backdrop of AI. But if we have proper rules and regulations against it, maybe it can be controlled, right? Security threats like cyber attack, data leaks may cause far more serious problems. Okay, this is something we have to work on right now, because data leaks, data breaches are very common these days, and this is the data is basically compromised in these things, so this can cause very serious problem for farmers also. So, one more thing, AI based farming systems could be targeted by hackers. Just imagine the aim of disrupting food supplies, and it can be done in near future. So, future perspectives of AI. So, future perspective of AI in agriculture hold immense potential for transforming the industry. As I said, AI is very powerful. It has the potential to transform the industry in a miraculous way, right? Robotics and drones equipped with AI can automate tasks like planting, harvesting, monitoring, crop health. Like everything will be done with AI, and no labor used, no pesticides used. Like everything is gonna be there, already done for the humans without giving commands or without monitoring them. But initially we do have to monitor it, right? So AI has potential to revolutionize agriculture by making farming more efficient, sustainable, and resilient to environmental changes. We can do this by breeding, by genomic. Like we can make such seeds that we can make the plants that can withstand droughts, that can withstand floods. We can, and this can happen in near future. Like they will be able to survive extreme uh, environmental conditions, right? So AI powered system can analyze vast amount of data to optimize crop yields, reduce resource usage, and improve sustainability. In the conclusion, I would like to say ki, uh, this technology has the potential to revolutionize the agricultural sector. It can bring the boom in our agricultural sector, and such like it by we and we can make this happen by addressing challenges such as shortage of labor, security of food, climate changes. Right, successful implementation will be required, like collaboration between farmers, researchers, policymakers, and technology developers. A good communication between all of them will ensure the ethical use of AI in agriculture, and the market values will also be uh, generalized here. Right, AI holds the promise of creating a more resilient and sustainable future for farming worldwide. Thank you everyone for having me here. If there are any questions, please.